Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Life on the Ave. This is episode 119 with our special guest, Mr. Greg Chakar. Greg Chakar of Arborvine Landscaping, LLC, and Design. That's what the Instagram says, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet. Love that. All right, so this is the portion of the show where I introduce you. I give you your flowers, so you can just kind of sit there and just smile and just, nod your head and wave.
Easy enough. All right, you got it.
But today's guest is a true hometown success story. We've enjoyed chopping it up before the podcast, and excited to see and learn some more about him. But Greg Chakar is the founder and president of Arborvine Landscaping, one of the most sought-after residential design build firms in the Wilmington area. But his journey started at just 12 years old with a yard sale Toro mower and a wagon, mowing lawns in North Wilmington to save up for a cell phone. Shout out, dude. That's the American dream.
Thank you. Yep.
Love that. What began as a summer hustle quickly turned into something bigger. After watching a large landscaping project transform a neighbor's yard, Greg discovered his passion for residential landscape construction. By high school, he was strategically growing the business through a co-op program, hiring his first designer and building crews. By his early 20s, he had established a recognizable high-end landscape design and build firm known for exceptional craftsmanship and customer experience. Today, Arborvine is powered by a team with over 200 years of combined experience, delivering custom outdoor spaces with unmatched attention to detail, all while staying true to its founding mission to build large-scale, beautiful projects while maintaining a family-like relationship with every client. Today, we're excited to welcome in and dive into his journey. Please welcome our guest, Mr. Greg Chakar.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anything you want to tell the people right off the jump?
I'm excited. It's my first podcast, so I'm looking forward to having some discussions and seeing where it goes.
Love it. Yeah. So we warmed you up a little bit. Sorry to hear about our Italian paisan, Nick Castellanos, but he's down in San Diego now. So
it happens.
You got a little Nick to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bad comparison. The ladies love him.
My dad usually gets haircuts, and he'd say he looks exactly like Nick when he gets his haircut a certain way. So. Yeah, my mom's upset. She's Mom Cass, and we got her a shirt that said Mom Castellanos, and so she's upset. My sister's upset. That's hilarious. But, my grandmother's favorite player was Nick Castellanos too, and
I think every grandmother in the tri-state area loved Nick Castellanos.
Yeah, we did get her a shirt, and I'm sure she'll still proudly wear it for the next decade. So
that's too funny. But yeah, man, I'm super excited. So I heard you chatting with Mary Kate. So tell me, you graduated Brandywine
High School 2021.
2021, so that makes you
23.
So I would say, hey, let's take it back to the start, but that's super early.
It is. Yeah, I mean, most people are starting right about now because most people my age are just now graduating college. So yep. I took a different path, but I was able to get a pretty good jump start on certain things. So
love that, man. Good for you. So sounds like the start was 12 years old.
Yep.
Any lawn cutting experience before that?
No, I mean, I had mowed my parents' lawns on occasion, so I had a rough experience, but it came down to I wanted that iPhone, and my parents were like, we're not buying you an iPhone.
What do you mean you had a rough experience?
Just with,
I hate grass cutting. Like when my dad used to make me cut the grass, it sucked.
I was always an outside kid, but I was used to, playing outside, riding bikes, swimming in the pool. I just wasn't used to working outdoors. I used to, when I was really young, follow my dad around, picking up sticks, whatever. But we had a pretty big yard. And you're like, wow, this is actually a lot of work. But I always enjoyed, being outdoors. So once I understood that, work was part of life, I was like, all right, this is what it is. So we're gonna roll with it. And you quickly learn once you got into starting the business that mowing the lawns was hard, but I had to go get these clients, and I had to, as a 12-year-old kid, knock on doors and hand out flyers. And I was always pretty shy and quiet at a young age. So that was really out of my comfort zone. So, starting to do that, you realize, hey, cutting lawns isn't that bad, especially when you work so hard to, get these first couple lawns by knocking on these doors and walking however many miles. So it kind of changed the perspective a little bit on that front for sure.
So I'm super excited today. I also started my entrepreneurial journey, launched into it full time, 19, 20-ish.
Sure. Yep.
But started honing my skills at 14 with my first business.
Okay.
So I'm just super excited to, hear you at 12 years old, getting after it. So what was it like, those first, I'll start at the beginning here. What was it like, that first time, you knocked on a door, that first time, you made a flyer sort of deal? Like how take me back to that.
Yeah,
like
so I
those
remember making the
emotions, yeah.
flyers. You know, I had to go out Staples, buy some green copy paper, and type them up and design them. Nothing fancy. Just said at the time it was Greg's Lawn Service. Picture of a lawnmower.
Any clip art on there?
Not much, man. Just the mower, some words, and then it was like a little, like I stapled a little orange coupon in the corner, like $5 off your first mow, and I was like $25 any yard. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't think about the size, and the business mindset wasn't quite there yet. So it's just hey, $25, so I'll cut your grass, and it was hard handing out the flyers. I mean, most of them I just dropped off in mailboxes. Wasn't really knocking on too many doors, but obviously in a neighborhood in the summertime, there's people that are out, so you walk up and you're talking to people, and like I said, being how much I was kind of a shy person at my younger age, it was interesting to have to talk to these people. You're a solid
size now. Like, what were you like as a 12-year-old? Were you always this size or what?
I was a bit skinnier back then.
Okay. I'd say you're pretty skinny right now. What are you, like 165, just shredded?
165 is pretty close, yeah.
Nice.
So I do lift a bit, but I've got kind of a build where I can tone it nice, but I can't get huge, so it works though. But so it definitely, having those discussions was hard and just not something I was used to. I never had just approached, an adult trying to sell them something, so it was not quite, my forte. But I think there's 200 houses in the neighborhood, so naturally you start to get used to it.
What neighborhood did you start in?
Windy Bush, which is off of Silverside Road.
Shout out.
Yep.
We love Windy Bush.
That's where I grew up, and so I got that first call like 2 days after, handing these flyers out, and I was like, all right, this is go time. So I called him back. I'm like, we can start cutting for you.
How did they call you? They call your home phone?
I did have a flip phone at the time that my parents were willing to give me. So going back, even if you want to get into the phone a bit more, so I was at a private school in Pennsylvania for elementary school.
Where'd you go?
St. Thomas the Apostle.
Man.
I love that school, but it's a pretty, wealthy area over there, I think I started there in 4th grade when I left public school, and every kid in the class had an iPhone and this and that, and the Jordans and all the stuff that my parents were able to put a roof over my head and feed me, but there was nothing left for the the extra stuff. So, it was always kind of socially hard, and like, hey, I have to go hide in the closet and send text from my flip phone because I don't have a smartphone. I was like, this isn't going to work. So I got that call.
Garden Valley lifestyle is nice.
Exactly. So I got that call on my flip phone. I was like, all right, I called him back, and we started mowing. And
in school, do you remember where you are now?
No, I don't remember that, to be honest with you. I remember it was a voicemail, so I was in school. So I must have called him back when I got out of school that day. I don't remember the time, but it was exciting. I mean, it was $25 a week, but it was the first sign of my work starting to pay off. So I was like, this is awesome. So
love that. His
house ended up being, I don't know, a mile and a half away from my house. Okay. Didn't have a license. So, I got my mower from the yard sale that I picked up like that weekend, and we drove around, canvassed, found a mower for like $50 and it ran. So I had this radio flyer wagon my parents gave me when I was a kid, like as a gift. So I hooked that to the mower, put my weed whacker in the back. Well, my dad's weed whacker at the time, and didn't have a leaf blower, so I had to use a broom. So I hooked everything up, and I walked, up and down the hills with all this equipment.
I love this, dude.
By the time I got there, I was like, holy cow, am I tired? I just walked a mile and a half with this lawnmower. But got there, walked probably another mile and a half cutting the lawn, got my $25, and I was like, all right, we're in business now. So that was it.
Heck yeah, dude.
Next client was my next door neighbor after that, and then that summer there was
much easier commute.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't beat that one. Yep. But then my dad was like, hey, you're already mowing the neighbor, so come on over and mow mine. So I really had 3 lawns. 2 I got paid for. 1 I was like my rent. So worked out good. So yeah. You
got to do some pro bono work there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is a part of the business.
Yep.
But that's awesome. Did you live in Windy Bush, or did you live in like Green Acres?
Windy Bush.
Lived in Windy Bush.
Yep.
Okay,
that's,
sweet.
Where my whole life was spent there until I moved out when I grew up. But yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Mary Kay and I, we used to babysit for a family in there.
Okay.
The Bear Lairs. Not sure if you're sure.
I lived next door to the Bear Lairs. They were my second client.
Yeah. There they are. Yeah. Look at that Delaware connection right there.
The state is, I always say, it's a small world, and Delaware is even smaller. The connections in this state are just wild. But we lived right next. If you're facing their front door from the road, we were to the left-hand side of them.
Yeah. So Jody and Aaron, they're awesome.
They're the best.
And we babysat the frat house. God.
Oh yeah. That's a full-time job right there. Those 3.
That is a full-time job with those 3. We're definitely, that needs to be clipped and posted on Instagram. That's hilarious.
Funny. Yeah.
But that's so cool. So the first summer, it sounds like just 3 lawns, or like did you grow up from there?
Just those 3. I mean, I kind of started.
When did we get the iPhone?
Oh, geez. I think it was, so I started like this part of the business, like I think the week before I went back to school is when I handed out the flyers. So the season was kind of winding down. It was close to fall. So that
12 years old, 7th grade, 8th grade?
Oh, geez. I want to say I was 7th.
Yeah, 6th, 7th grade,
That
something like
sounds
that.
right. Yeah.
At St. Thomas still?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I think that following summer is when I ended up having enough saved up for the iPhone. So around 8th grade is when I got that. And that second season, I think I got up to like 7 or 8 lawns, and that was just like, people see the kid in the neighborhood and everyone started to know who I was, the kid that cuts grass. And I was surprised. I guess people were kind of not used to seeing that, so a lot of people fired their services that they had and like, hey, we want you to do it. And it's like, all right, cool, this is awesome. So worked out good to be able to get that kind of traction going just from people seeing me out and about. So
heck yeah, that's nice. Awesome, dude. My favorite part of it is just at this like young start of it is like you don't know anything, right? And so like literally like everything is on the job training. So like we talk about we call it like in our business like, hey, it's tuition. So like what tuition did you have? Did you have obviously with the license and stuff and having to drag that one, but any tuition, any angry customers, any people you send any rocks through any windows or anything like that? Break any siding? Didn't
do that. I think that happened as the company grew. When you start multiplying people, stuff happens. But when it was just me, I didn't have any issues like that. I think I did have one customer that was a little she was very religious, which I can respect. But me being in school, I had to cut lawns on Saturdays and Sundays, and if I cut a lawn anywhere near her on Sunday, I got a nice little yelling to. So
there you go.
So that was always a hurdle. A nice lady, she meant well, but she took her religion very seriously, which I can respect, and that made it a little bit harder for me to do my route the way I wanted to. But we took that hurdle and we improvised and worked around it. So you know what I mean?
I love that.
Our job is customer service is always difficult, but our job is to make sure we're delivering on our customers' requests. So that's what I had to do. So
I love that. Good for you. Good for you. So my wife has in here. Was there ever a moment you thought this might not work? What was the moment where you thought like, hey, like this might work? Like not to not work, but like hey, like I might want to do this.
I think the first sign of it is you realize you can set goals, and you can achieve them. So going back to the iPhone, like hey, I had a goal, I wanted this iPhone, and I put some work in, and I realized hey, I hit this goal. So then it's like, all right, I enjoy being outdoors. Obviously, I've built something that people are appreciating here, and I'm having fun. So let's see how far we can take this, and it's just the possibilities are endless. And I think that ability to build something that you could customize and be unique with, and also achieve and these goals that you set, it really was motivating to me to see where that went from there.
Yeah. So how old would you say when you were like, all right, cool, like I might want to do this, a little bit more serious?
Probably leads into like kind of when I had mentioned I saw my neighbor getting some landscaping done, which again was the Barrel Airs, had some work done by a larger company that I spent the summer between mowing my lawns watching that. And I was like, hey, this industry is more than just cutting grass.
Correct.
There's landscaping, hardscaping, construction. I'm probably 14, 15 about this time. And I remember watching that, and that's when I really got on the internet and started looking at some of the local companies that were established, and also just on YouTube, just learning more about the industry and all the stuff that can be done. And I was like, all right, this is really something that is interesting to me, and it's unique. I mean, when you get into building people's outdoor spaces, the customization and the ideas and just the creativity that comes with that was really interesting to me, and that was what when we really pursue this seriously at that point. So
love that. That's awesome. So let's skip forward a little bit, and then we'll come right back to it. So Arborvine right now, tell me like what's your breakdown? Like what divisions do you have?
Yep. So right now we have 2 divisions, a landscape construction and maintenance division and a hardscaping and masonry division. So we have 2 crews in each division currently for a total of 4 crews. Each crew is staffed with 2 people, foreman and an assistant. We've been blessed to have some really highly skilled people join the team.
Nice.
So that's been huge, obviously. Landscape-wise, we specialize in everything from maintenance, so cleanups and mulching and pruning, to the heavy construction. So new landscaping, sod grading, drainage is big in this area. There's a lot of very poor soil and stuff like that. And then landscape lighting's huge as well. So we do that. On the maintenance side, we really only maintain what we install, which allows us to, again, build these long-term relationships. And if we built something, we know it better than anybody. So to be able to come in regularly and maintain that, not only do we know it better, but we care more about it because we we created it. So it definitely is, for the client's perspective, very nice to have that same firm for life. Hardscape side, that's really the big one. I mean, everybody needs hardscaping, outdoor living spaces, walkways, fireplaces. And I think what sets us apart is a lot of people can lay pavers and do basic stuff, but the masonry is what's more difficult. wet laid flagstone, brickwork. That stuff it takes a serious skill, and there's just masonry is a dying trade, to be honest. It's hard to find people.
The trades in America are dying. We need more tradesmen.
It needs to go the other way, because trades are one of the few things that this AI can't figure out. So I think that people should, capitalize on those opportunities for sure. But we've been blessed to have a really good mason that is highly skilled and allows us to really build some awesome custom stuff for sure.
Love that. And so, like, hopping back, to 14, 15 years old, we're in high school now.
Yep.
And when did you hire, like, your first, employee, first person helping you out?
So that was probably, I started at St. Elizabeth's High School for freshman and sophomore year, and I would say I was more
Go Vikings. My wife loves the Vikings.
Yeah, it's a great school. Yeah. I'm more of I'll say a normal high school kid, freshman, sophomore year, where I was like, I was playing baseball, playing football, and I was just cutting grass.
You look like a wrestler. You didn't wrestle?
I get asked that all the time. I did not wrestle, no. Was not a wrestler. I actually never played in a football game because I only started football to make friends my freshman year, and I ended up breaking my collarbone in the last scrimmage before the season started, and so I was like the glorified water boy. But I made the friends I wanted to make. Not a bad
spot to be.
No, I had fun with it. So, those 2 years, it was still the same thing. I was up to like 30 lawns at this point. I had bought my first commercial mower from Suburban Lawn, and I was like not having to walk around the neighborhood anymore. So that was nice. And for a while, I was mowing with one arm because my collarbone, so I had to hire my dad for a few weeks to help me out. So
nice.
That
Did you pay him, or was it your intern?
I paid him. I paid him.
Cool. Yeah. I made my dad my intern. I call him my intern.
There were some times where he did help me out without compensation, but that time, since I was dragging him away from his weekends, it was hard because he was always coaching my sister's softball team, so it was a tough spot for him. So if I'm going to take him away, I might as well pay the man. So that worked out good. But so jumping forward, I transferred to Brandywine High School my junior year, mainly because they had a co-op schedule where I could be in school.
And what is a co-op? I'm not from Delaware, so...
Sure. So I'm not sure the actual terminology name-wise, but what it is, it's a schedule for students that either need to work or want to work to, whether it's for learning abilities or they want to, to pursue a different path versus college, and they need to get some field experience. So
good, I love that.
Usually you have to have like an actual program to back it.
Different than the VOTEC? Like,
yes. That's it's supposed to be associated with an actual program where you're getting like certified hours of work or whatever, but my situation was unique. I was very lucky that my mom is employed in Brandywine School District, and she was able to reach out to the superintendent, who made a huge exception for me, allowing me to co-op without having the full
co-op as like, hey, I'm co-oping for myself.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. So that
like,
was
hey, for co-op, 212 spring semester, I got an A.
Because you got to sign.
I gave myself an A.
Your employer needs to sign it and grade it. I'm like, well, I am the employer, so it was very much a gray area, but they jumped through some hoops for me, and that made all the difference.
Good.
So that year is when I was like, I have 3 days, of time now that I can dedicate to work and not have to worry about school. So that was like, all right, let's see what we can find. And I happen to know this kid that I played baseball with had an older brother who had recently graduated University of Delaware with a degree in landscape architecture. So I reached out to him like, hey, I know you have this degree. I assume you're looking for work. Do you want to work for me? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to work for you. So he came out of school with the back end of the, all the horticulture and stuff like that, and a huge ability to design stuff. And that was when I'm like, all right, we got a designer. Now we're getting some traction here. So
I love that.
Senior year, this is all my second half of junior year, and senior year is when COVID was going on. So the world stopped, and no one was in school. It was all virtual. So that made things even easier because I didn't have to go to school at all. So I could put the Zoom class on my laptop or whatever, and I could work the full week.
Love that.
Not only that, but the industry, I'm sure your industry is busy too. Everyone was looking at houses, whether they're moving houses or improving the house they were in, because they, as far as they were concerned, they weren't going to go anywhere for however long. So, we're going to spend our money on our house or in our house. So
everybody was getting stimmy checks.
Exactly. It was a huge period of growth, and that was where we were able to bring on, more and more equipment and people, and that was like where the vision really started to become something that, it was getting serious to the point where we were constantly busy.
I love that.
We had high quality work coming in, so that was kind of the process up to that point.
I love that. And so I love the like we're in similar fields in the sense of like the barrier to entry is extremely low.
Right.
But the barrier to excellence is, driven through like consistency, hard work, and a couple little bit strokes of luck, right? So like my biggest thing here, because I follow a bunch of like during COVID, I'm a sucker for a before and after, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so I love watching the landscaping videos when the guys like, and, you know, gets after it like that.
Right.
And then also I'm a sucker just for like business wise, like seeing how people, you know, do their pricing strategy. Like, hey, you know, I take an aerial view of the place, you know, it's got XY tree sort of deal. I know the square footage. I know that this is, you know, this is an $84 cut sort of deal.
Exactly.
And I love the ability to like pivot in the landscaping world where, you know, you can start out, you know, learning so much in terms of like customer service, marketing on just basic like lawn cutting.
Yep.
And then just being like, okay, cool, I'm in the Northeast region. Like this is a seasonal business. It stops, you know, how do I stay busy 12 months out of the year?
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
Do I go trees? Do I go, you know, the landscaping route? Do I go like a pool route sort of deal? Like how do I like specialize? And the ability that I love is like, you know, it was one of the first questions I asked you about your business. It's like, hey, what divisions do you currently have? Right. Because it's so funny. We start out cutting lawns and then we're like, I'm only doing the ones that I've installed.
Right. Yep. Well, then that was the lawns was a tool. You know, it gave you the experience, it gives you the capital, and we actually completely sold our lawn maintenance side last year to an employee of mine that was going to start his own business. And I was like, hey man, if you're going to start one, like let's work something out here. You know, my client's been with me for so many years, so he does all the mowing and fertilization, and it allows us to focus on everything.
I love that.
I was wanting to do that for a while, but I didn't want to just. Obviously, these clients help me get to where I am, so I'm not going to do something where I'm like, hey, I'm going to throw you to this random dude. Like, this is a guy that they knew, that they worked with through me for many years. So he knew them as well as I did, and he was the one doing that work. So it was an awesome transition.
Kudos to you. That is so much maturity. I'm not sure, you know, if people, I'm not sure if that comes from your parents or your upbringing or anything like that, but yeah.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah. Kudos to you, because that's awesome, because, you know, things can end in such like a bad way. I've worked for people where it's ended in a bad way.
Right.
And, you know, I love that, because that's just going to come back to you. I'm a firm believer in karma.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the golden rule. So, you know, treat others how you want to be treated.
I'm big on it too. You have to. I mean, and it goes into what you said earlier about like what moments when you think this isn't going to work, you know, that there's so many times I couldn't count on all my fingers how many times that happened. You know, you learn a lot of hard lessons when you're in business for yourself. You know, from just how
hit me. What are some early mistakes? So what do we got? What lessons have we learned?
Obviously, you know, one thing is just learning the projects. Like sometimes when you do a first anything, you know, whether it's your first retaining wall, your first pool deck, you know, there's things that you don't think about until you get into it. And it's funny to say, like, I think there was one pool deck that we started doing, the first one we did, we made a little air with some of the parts where we were like pitching it, the water flow. And, you know, we realized, hey, you know, we made a mistake, luckily before the client knew it, and we made it right. Good. And that's a lesson that you're not going to forget, because you witnessed it, you learned it, and you fixed it. And, you know, obviously when you're starting out, having to redo something is not what you want to do. No. I mean, even with like employees, you learn, you know, how to deal with if they have an issue with a coworker, or if they, you know, are looking to make more money. There's just things that you don't think about that can happen, and you just have to learn how to work with those things. So just hundreds of small examples of things that, you know, are small problems that you work through, and now you have that tool in your toolbox. Hey, if this happens, I know what to do. Or you learn it well enough that, hey, you know, when we plan this, we know this, so this won't happen again. So a lot of stuff like that can really, you know, I just don't think you can beat field experience. You know, I've had designers come to me that have 10 years of industry experience, but they don't have the field experience that I had learning. So while they're very skilled in the design side, you know, you just can't sometimes beat someone that's been out there in the field that has done this stuff and learned this stuff. So that knowledge is priceless. I mean, totally priceless.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. My dad works, my dad's been a chemical operator for like 30 years. And it's just so funny. He's worked in like big refineries, and like you get these kids like fresh out of school coming in and be like, hey, this is how it should be. And my dad's like, that's what it says in the book in the classroom, but like out here in the real world, like this is how it is.
There's a very big difference between that, and it's something that it just takes time to get the experience. You know, if you've ever worked behind a desk your whole life, and you can design these great things, but if you don't know how they're built, obviously there's some things that are going to be overlooked. So, you know, making sure that everybody that comes in is exposed to that side of the industry for me is huge, because it allows them to fully understand, you know, what they might not have known before.
All right, so we're getting ready to hop into like the family culture, but before we hop into that, Arborvine, how do we come up with the name? Arbor, forest,
I gotta give the credit to my mom.
Okay.
She came up with the name and the logo. She is sweet. She's an educator and she's great at that, but her second career could have been marketing. She is fantastic. I wanted something with an A because at the time I was like, A comes up first on the internet and stuff. And I realized after getting into business that
I didn't even think of that.
SEO, it doesn't matter anyway. But at the time I was like, I was dead set on an A. Like my last name sucks for a company name, so She's like, what about Arborvine? I'm like, I don't know where you come up with that, but it sounds outdoorsy and nice. And then she had the logo with the A and the vine. I was like, this is it. I mean, this is it. We toyed around with names for months, and she
coming up with a name is difficult.
It's hard, yeah. And she hit the nail on the head. I mean, I reached out to a logo company, described what I wanted, and they're like, yeah, that's easy. And that was it. So
I love that, dude. I love that. Yeah, and I'm just checking out your Instagram where you guys are at, 3,400 bowers.
Yep.
So I love that. And you mentioned 4 crews, 2 people at least each. So it sounds like 8 people out there in the field.
Yep.
Does that include you or no?
No. There's 8 in the field, and there's 3 in the office. We have office manager that obviously answers the phone. She does all of our purchasing and production management. Myself, I do a lot of the product management and sales currently, as well as business development. And I have a landscape designer that does kind of the second half of the sales and all the design work that needs to be done.
Still the same guy or different guy?
No, he worked out very well, but he learned that he was not so keen on the sales side of the business. He would rather just do design. So he actually works for a local architect doing landscape design. So him and I are still in contact, and it's a good move for him. And we've moved on and have great people in his shoes. But without him, he was part of that founding group. So still good to have him when we did. So
I love that. So how do you guys promote and keep and protect a family-like culture?
So the culture is huge, and it's something I learned. I want to back up a little bit to the kind of some of the steps that you're like, this might not work. It was the hardest thing was finding good people. People that would come to work, that were skilled, that weren't toxic, that would ruin. When you have a large group of people, you got to be careful with
you can't
culture.
have a bad apple.
You can't. It ruins the whole bunch. So for years, I was having a hard time with that, and it made it really hard, to grow the business because we had a lot of work and we couldn't fill these positions. So I got lucky with one person that had approached me that wanted to come here that had a bad experience, and he was great. Not only was he skilled and reliable and honest and matched my culture well, but he was able to find other people that were also similar minded to him and myself and bring them on the team. So it was a wake up call, like, hey, we finally have the people that we always wanted. Now we need to make sure that we can keep them. So the way to do that was not only through treating them well, through paying them well, offering benefits and all that stuff, obviously, but developing a culture that makes them want to come to work and want to spend time with each other outside of work. And it's something that it's really hard to describe, but it starts with me. I am the leader, and I also take on a lot of the stress. So sometimes it's hard to put that smile on your face, but you have to figure out.
I don't see any grays yet.
No,
you see my grays?
Yet. No, I don't think so. I check it frequently. I haven't seen any yet. But you gotta. It is what it is, and you realize when you get stressed out, this is my dream, this is what I wanted, and that stress comes with it. So when you look at how lucky you are to be where you are, it's easy to put that smile on. I think having that positive attitude, going up to the guys every morning, give them the fist bump, hey, good morning, how's it going, how are your kids doing, how is your soccer tournament, whatever the case may be, just know that you care about them and you're invested in their success outside of work, and just fostering that relationship, I think, has allowed them to be like, hey, this is fun. The boss cares about us. The projects are meaningful and valuable, and that just has led to this culture that we have today. And it's priceless for sure.
I love that. In terms of physically investing in your people, this is kind of on I guess not necessarily the soft skills, but office skills, financial skills. Do you have 401k, health benefits?
We do.
Where are you guys at with that stuff?
Yeah, we do have 401k with company matching.
That's awesome,
we have medical,
company truck and stuff.
We do have take-home trucks for our foremen, so they don't have to front any fuel costs to get to and from work.
Love that.
We also do a lot of incentives and bonuses based on job performance. So it's hey, here's what we expect from you on this project, and usually it's a percentage of the project based on performance. So it allows them to be more motivated to do things the way we want them done, because they're going to be rewarded for that, and as they deserve to be. Because I'll be honest, the standard that I have set is a hard standard. It's higher than a lot of local companies around here, so it does make it harder, when you're looking at, working here. Yeah, there's benefits, but you're working harder to attain those benefits, no doubt about it. So we try to do our best to make sure that the people that are willing to put in that work are rewarded for it, for sure. So,
love that. Just out of curiosity, did you ever consider any military?
No. My second career choice was law enforcement, though. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Similar. Second question, out of curiosity, just kind of getting into the entrepreneurship side. Where did you learn all this? Do you read books, podcasts? What do you got?
I haven't read it. I started reading this year. I haven't read a book since I left school though until this year.
Good.
I started reading business books.
What do we got? What are we reading?
Influence is about persuasion and kind of psychology behind it, which is a very interesting read. A lot of stuff about delegation of tasks, and then just some financial stuff. I mean, just
what do you got? Yeah.
I don't even know the name of the book yet. I got a bunch of them for Christmas, and I haven't gotten through them yet.
Good.
I only read about 10 pages a day, but it's still, we're working through them.
Look at that, 10 pages a day.
But,
who says that? Yeah.
The stuff that I've learned, to be honest with you, I am in one mentorship group on Facebook. That's a group with about 1,000 landscape business owners in it, and a lot of them have been where I've been, and they're up here, and some of them are down here. So it's a mixture of me providing my knowledge to the guys below me, and also learning from guys above me. But to paramount all of that, it's really the experiences I've learned. I mean, everything, all those hard lessons, it's taken years. I mean, it's been almost 10 years now, and it's like everything that you learned, you don't forget it, and that's just kind of where most of it's come from. It's crazy to think about it, but that's
what's your dad do for work?
He's retired now. He was a juvenile probation officer through his career.
Gotcha. And you mentioned sister. Sister. She is a sophomore at University of Delaware in the nursing program right now. Nice. Awesome, dude. Yeah, so good for you. In terms of I had a question in mind, just kind of escaped me there. But in terms of that, like entrepreneurship, going back to that, that like rule of thirds is true. I try to spend my time with, 33% of my time with people above me, 33% at my level, and then 33% below me.
Exactly.
In terms of like, getting into like my background a little bit, there was a time where I considered, like turf management sort of deal. Right. Was that ever an option for you? Like, hey, I want to go to Penn State turf, Rutgers turf, anything like that?
I definitely considered like doing some stuff, not so much like going to a full-time college, but classes on the side. But during this whole period that I've been through, really leading up to where we are now, it's just so much of my time was consumed with the business that I didn't really have any time left, to be honest with you. I don't know, some of that stuff probably would have been beneficial. It would have saved me some of the lessons I learned the hard way for sure. But I still think, going back to what we said earlier, that some of that stuff, I could have gone there, maybe learned more about the back end of stuff for sure. But I think that hands-on experience is what allowed me to grow as quick as I did. So could I have done it? Yes. Do I regret it? No. I think
I don't think you're missing out on that. Do you love grass?
I enjoy grass, but more so I like stones and pavers and that kind of stuff. So,
my turf grass management experience is I worked on the grounds crew at Marion Golf Club. For 3 months there. Nice. I caddied there for 3 years.
All right.
And my second year, I thought my college journey was kind of wayward. I don't have a great college journey.
It's all good. It's all good. I don't have any college journey, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, but those guys, a few things. Number one, I love that you showed up here early. So, you're 15 minutes early, so that's fantastic. So those guys were harping on that. That job started at 5:30 in the morning. You had to clock in by 5:35 or you were late and got sent home for the day. And those guys, they just like loved grass. You definitely have a lot more like social skills than them because you've been out there a little bit. Those guys were basically, hey, don't talk to the membership, yada yada yada.
Just keep the grass pretty, and that's it.
But those guys love grass. But I just loved like that whole like seeing that operation and just like an appreciation that they had just like for their craft. And it sounds like you have it, with the difference between brick, bluestone, slate, anything that you're putting in, lighting wise, I'm sure way more than the average person in terms of what is like the sprinkle.
Irrigation?
The twinkle lights, yeah. Like obviously irrigation and stuff like that. But I'm thinking of like Hampton Bay. Hampton Bay is like the only thing I know when it comes to like lighting. And then these lights here.
It's just a vast of knowledge on all sides of it. It's, like I said, there's lighting, there's hundreds of products and options, and then my job has always been to listen to what the clients want, and that's the best part. Is everything's different. This job is not cookie cutter. Every project, like right around the corner from here on Kentmere Parkway, that big white Tudor house, we worked with Doosan on that house. We were there for about 6 months. Client had a very unique, style and very different than what we're used to, and it was a challenge to design it. But it was 6 months.
Did you guys do the pool too?
No, the pool was done by a different company, but we did all the decking around the pool and the retaining walls.
Did you guys do anything
and the
in the backyard they purchased?
That lot is being left open right now for, I don't know what the future plans are with that. But we did clean it up and plant new sod and all that stuff. Some privacy from the neighbors, stuff like that. But it's a very, very fun project. And it was different. I mean, that's the thing about it, is these houses are unique and each client's unique. So it's never the same. And the creativity that comes with that, it keeps me, interested. It keeps my employees excited for what project's next on the schedule. So it's very fun to see.
Yeah, I know exactly what house you're talking about now. I was you said it a couple of times. I'm like, white Tudor. Yeah. Literally, our back door neighbor right here. He lives right here. That was his house.
Oh yeah,
and that dude bought it like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Yep.
Same thing. Just knocking on doors. Needed a house to buy, so he knocked on his door. It was like, hey.
And
what do you want?
That's how my client found it. She lives around the corner, and she's like, "Hey, I see you want to get out of this house. I'll buy it." So now they've been living around the corner. I think they finally just moved in. I think Doosan wrapped up like a couple weeks ago, so they're in
That's
for
awesome.
good now. So
have you seen the interior?
Yeah, it's stunning.
Yeah.
It's stunning. I mean, they took that place down
Doosan
to the bones. Yeah, they're pretty good. So it was fun to work with them. They're always great. So it's fun.
That's awesome.
Fun
That's
project.
awesome. Do you have any other partnerships with that sort of deal?
Yeah, we work with a couple pool builders.
Okay.
Clark's Pools in Delaware.
Yep.
Is a big one. We do a lot with them. A few architects that do like drainage plans and stuff like that. A lot of times, they have people asking them for references. And Apex Engineering is the big one around here.
Okay.
We've worked with them a lot, and I think they've come to trust our knowledge and expertise. So a lot of times, if someone needs some drainage work done or heavy landscaping, we're the one that usually gets the referral. So
Love that.
we've been able to work with that network and do stuff like that, which has been great. So
that's awesome, dude. Good for you. Yeah. Last few things here. So, just talking about, what would you say is your primary target market?
Good question. Region-wise, we do a lot of work in the city of Wilmington and North Wilmington, Delaware. Those two ranges are our main. We do most of southeastern PA, so Kennett, Chats Ford, Glen Mills, all that, and we also go up to about Middletown, Delaware. So we actually, that's kind of our cap.
Yep.
We get drugged down to the beach sometimes. We have clients that, have houses in Hockessin or whatever, and they have a beach house. And hey, we want you to do it. And we'll do that for them, of course. But outside that, we don't go much further than Middletown. So,
gotcha.
But we're really just looking for people that are valuing a quality project and a quality experience.
Yep.
What I tell people is that a lot of people can build something that they see, but the amount of attention to detail and thought that goes into an actual professional design is what makes the difference. When you call us, we're going to look at what you want, look at your property. We're going to respect your property. If it's a historical house, we're going to make sure the design complements that. If you have a slope, we're going to make sure that we're engineering everything properly, structurally and safety-wise, that it works. And we're going to give you design that checks all those boxes from an aesthetic standpoint, a functionality standpoint. From there, we're going to communicate with you, which is something in this industry that is a lost art. You get in these big projects that are several months long. You have to communicate. People have to know what's going on with their houses. They need to know, not everything. But they need to know that they can trust you to make these decisions and keep the project, on schedule and do things right. So when we're done with a project, we have clients that are not only in love with their outdoor space, but they're in love with the experience they witnessed. And most of our clients are so thrilled with their spaces, they can't wait to enjoy them, but they're also, I hear it a lot. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna miss your guys. Like, we're kind of sad they're leaving." Like, they're so happy and positive, and just the vibes that, and it just goes to show that the experience is just as important. And that's what, going back to the beginning, when I realized that I could really do something that nobody else is doing it and make it different. And there's hundreds of landscape companies, but I think anybody of my clients that you would talk to would say the experience that you get with us is something that's unmatched in the industry. So
that's awesome.
I take immense pride in that, for sure.
Good for you, dude. What would you say, last few questions here, what outdoor upgrades actually bring the highest return on investment for
So that's an
homeowners?
awesome question, and I actually just did a blog on this. If you go on my website, it should be up in the next couple of days.
Link that blog.
However, the main thing there is you want to focus on things that create a focal point or a source of entertainment. So depends on your budget, of course, but best thing if you want to get value and enjoyment is going to be a fire feature. So if you're on a budget, just adding a fire pit for a small fee can not only increase the value of your home.
That's just so animalistic, like human nature, like when man made fire, the caveman.
Get your friends around there, your family. You get your s'mores and going. It's something that it provides an experience to your space. Now, if you have a larger budget, that can be a fireplace. That's a tall structure with a TV on it or whatever. You can go crazy with it, but that is huge. Now, if you're looking for something that's more of a curb appeal functionality side thing, you probably want to go lighting or landscaping. So if you light your house up at night, you know, you're getting the security aspect for sure. No one's going to rob the house that has lights on it, obviously, if there's options. If you have a cool stone house, you know, all your neighbors are like, wow, you know, this house is awesome. It's lit up. Also, if you do have an outdoor space, if you have lighting and you're having a pool party and it gets dark, it's no problem because you have lighting. If you don't have lighting, your parties are done as soon as the sun sets.
Correct. Yeah.
Landscaping, similar concept. It can add curb appeal. It can add value if you're looking to sell your house or just up the value. Just, you know, if you're on a budget, you don't have to change your beds. Just get some new plants in there.
I know that for a fact. Like when we pull up to a house and you can tell, like, okay, cool, the landscaping's nice outside. The house inside is going to be nice. It tried and true fact.
Oh yeah, and the value. I mean, I had a client that had put in a magnificent outdoor space. He spent about, I'm going to say, $80,000 on the space with us, big patio, fire pit, lights, walkways, and then he ended up having to move for work like right after it was done. So he didn't get to enjoy it. But I remember him telling me, I talked to him like, hey, how'd the house go? 'Cause it's sold. And like, this was 2021, so it was everything was crazy. He was like, dude, I got like a huge ROI on this space because people love this outdoor space and it just upped the value not only of the house, but it just upped, I think, the interest of people wanting this house because, you know, not only do you have a beautiful house, but you have this awesome custom outdoor space to enjoy. So it makes a huge difference for sure.
I love that. All right. So anything else you want to tell us about Arborvine Landscaping?
I think we covered most of it. I mean, like I said, I think it's just something that I have to say that I'm appreciative of the time that I've had to share my journey and my company on this podcast. And I hope that some people can learn some things from just my journey and my process. And of course, if you need any luxury outdoor living or landscaping, let us know. Of
course. Last couple questions for you here. We try to hit everybody with Delaware questions.
Sure.
So first one, I would say, favorite local eatery. Like, where do the guys eat for lunch? Like where do you like to eat for lunch?
So the guys love the Hispanic places. I don't know them all too well, so I can't comment on that. There's a few decent taco trucks floating around North Wilmington that they find. I know that. But for my...
How is your Spanish?
Terrible.
Terrible.
I can speak Spanglish. I understand landscaping words like truck, trailer, plants. I know dinero, of course, when it's paycheck time. But other than that, not that great. But luckily, most of my employees, they're not fully bilingual, but they have a pretty good. And I have some guys that we've invested going back to them into English classes for them to help them understand, which is important.
Love that.
For me, my favorite local place, just because it is close to my family personally, is got to be Stanley's Tavern on Falk Road.
Stanley's guy.
Yeah, because my grandparents grew up. My grandparents raised my parents on Grub Road, like a stone's throw away from Stanley. So every time my grandfather just recently passed away, actually, but
sorry for the loss.
Thank you. He used to go there and tell all the servers, hey, I remember when there was horseshoe pits in here like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, and just because of how close it was, if I had to go out with my grandparents or if they were watching me for the day, that was always the place that we went. And then if I had to catch up with my grandfather in recent years or whatever, it's always the place that we went to. So for me, it kind of holds a family kind of touch to it. So for me, that's got to be my favorite place.
Love that. Yeah. We recently just took my son there for breakfast after church, and every time we ride past it, he goes, "That's my spot."
Yep.
That's
Can't go wrong with Stanley's. I mean, they're all the restaurants. They have, I think, the same ones that own the Deer Park in Newark, which my sister's apartment in college is right there. So I'm there a lot too, catching up with her.
There you go.
And then the McGlynn's, the new one in Greenville, is like right near where I golf at. So I kind of go there after golf. So that whole...
Where do you golf at?
Usually Del Castle.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not quite good enough for the fancy courses yet.
Sorry. Getting there?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I just got to get my drives under control a little bit. I got to shank some things a little bit, but... it's still fun.
We're golfers here. Cole and I are golfers.
Oh, yeah. It's
Patrick's got the bug a little bit, too, so he's getting there.
It's fun. It just takes time to master it, By the time I retire, I should be good. So.
A lot of early mornings in the business?
Yeah, for sure. Our guys come in at 7 o'clock.
Coffee guy?
No.
No?
Believe it or not, I haven't had a single drink except for water in like my whole life. I drank milk when I was a kid, but all I drink is water. I don't drink Gatorade. I don't drink Red Bull. I'm just water.
You want to hit Wawa?
No.
Early in the morning?
Nope. I don't eat breakfast.
What?
I found that my focus is better on an empty stomach. I usually don't eat until 1 or 2 o'clock when I have lunch and I have dinner. And I've just found that.
Don't tell me you pack your lunch.
No.
I
live close enough to the office that I run home for lunch most of the time. If I'm having a busy day, I'll pack it, but usually, no. But, I early mornings, but I mean, again, I have a team that I can trust, and I'll be honest, I don't have to be the first thing in the morning. I like to be there, but my people know what to do, and they can function without me. So if I have something to do, or the case may be, if I'm tied up somewhere else, it runs fine. But yeah, this industry is definitely. We always say most of the production happens before lunchtime, because after lunch everybody slows down. So,
correct.
So 7 to 12 is like that's go time.
Big time.
For sure. So.
Yeah, big time. Favorite Delaware event? Do you have a favorite Delaware event? Example would be like Italian festival, Greek festival, Delaware, fair.
Not a big festival
hanging out with your sister.
But I was going to say, since my sister started going there,
Tuesday
I've gotten
nights.
seriously invested into University of Delaware football.
Okay.
She loves it, so her and I, and using my mom, will go to the games and watch them, and that's like I look forward to that, almost every week in season when they're playing. So that's kind of got to be my favorite thing.
quarterback, he was legit this year.
Yeah, he's no joke. Yeah, he's good, and I think he's sticking around. There's some talks
he's
of maybe leaving, but yeah,
Paul Warlow.
Yep, yeah.
Brandywine School District, Concord head, but he's back on staff there this year.
Yeah.
Made the jump to D1.
It's exciting stuff.
Go Hens.
That new conference, they did better than anybody thought they were going to do in the new conference this year.
Correct.
So they kicked some butt.
First year.
Yeah. So that's got to be my favorite thing to do.
University of Delaware, definitely a place to be.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to I would love UD to be like a huge football school. I played lacrosse at Delaware. And I would love UD to be a huge football school. And my wife loved the football team as well too.
It's so fun. My sister, so when she was deciding, she got into I think Tennessee, Penn State, and Delaware. Yeah. Obviously Delaware is the most affordable and the closest. So she made the right trip. The thing that held her back was, I really want a football school. Yeah. I'm like, well, Delaware's not quite there, but it's starting to feel like it. It's getting there. So she's very pumped about that. So yeah.
And she's making smart financial moves as well too. Delaware at nursing, she's crushing it. So
yeah, it's working out good. She loves it.
Good for her. Shout out, sis. Last question here. Not sure if this is public knowledge, but are you single?
I am single. Yes.
Are you actively looking?
In my spare time, which is few and far between, but always looking for opportunities in anything in life. So,
ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get in touch with Mr. Greg, hit me up. Would be happy to get you in touch, Greg Chakar. But Greg, dude, this was fantastic. I literally feel I'm like talking to myself here a little bit. And it's funny because we're like similar. Like we've both been doing this for like 10 years. Yep. So I'm just super excited for, your next 10 years plus.
Same here.
Of business.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Where do you see? What's the vision?
Just continued growth. Continued growth. I mean, we're in a market where there's a lot of demand for our services, and we're building something that is very unique. So the demand because of that is becoming high. So, we've been in this state where we're just trying to refine a lot of details right now and gear up for our next big growth spurt. So within the next 2 or 3 years here, I think you'll see quite a few more trucks on the road than there are now. So
good.
That's the plan.
I love that. Would you care to be an expert witness if I have to go to court over something?
Depends on what it is, but if I can help, I'm happy to.
I drove my car over my neighbor's lawn the other day.
I can help with that. No problem.
And she's like, the tire ruts are going to be here. I'm like, man, we're down the Jersey Shore. Everything was flooded. It was a mess.
You know how many of my clients call me because Amazon drives over their yards and I have to type the same thing. I saved it now because it's the same thing every time. It happens. I can help with that. No problem. Yeah.
Sweet. I appreciate it. Well, Greg, dude, this has been absolutely awesome. I really appreciate you coming in and wish you, nothing but health, wealth, and success moving forward. I know that you're going to absolutely crush it. So.
I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. This was fun.
All right,
Thank you.
That was great. This is Life on the Ave. Love you guys.